Campaigns Intensive was a really tight, action-packed, information-filled 3 days about how to structure a campaign, how to run a campaign, how to own it. So build it and own it too.
I said to the ACTU coordinator, for the young people, bring them into the role. Make them part of that intensive campaign. Not their separate identity.
I looked around and I wasn't quite sure that I was in an MUA event anymore. There were so many women, young activists, Indigenous representatives, veterans. It was just the most amazing eclectic mix of MUA members I've ever seen.
There was so many younger people like myself there doing Phonebank Halls to get members of the union to come along and volunteer for our door knocking.
Did you get the door, love?
Yeah, I'll get the door. G'day mate, I'm Matt, I'm an Australian seafarer.
When we first talked to the members about calling their own members to ask them to come along to an action, there was a lot of hesitation. Oh, I'm not really good on the phone, I don't know how they'll respond. And after 1 or 2 phone calls, they were like, this is a breeze, I'm just talking to another MUA member. Who is it?
It's a seafarer, I think. What?
We had people's addresses or streets that you go to.
My name's David, I'm a wharfie.
Nice to meet you guys.
We both work in the maritime industry in Australia.
Okay, what are you doing this morning?
We just had a little chat to them about what they thought about the Abbott government at the time.
I live in the seat of Corangamite, about Australian jobs and the Abbott government's attack on Australian jobs.
Okay.
We spoke about the maritime industry and the effects that the shipping legislation were going to have on our industry. What could happen is not only going to affect us for our jobs, it's going to have an on-flow effect to other people, other small businesses, and it's also going to exploit foreign workers.
There's also been a massive attack on Australian seafarers and ships up and down the coast.
Oh yeah, what's happening there?
No one likes going up to a stranger's door and having a conversation if you're not sure how it's going to go. And they all went well. People were excited to go, oh, I knocked on 6 doors, or I knocked on 4 doors, and I got this response. And people getting selfies with people at doors and stuff.
Just a second, I'll put the lid on.
Yeah, I'll be in.
Most of them were all for it, and we got them with a sign for Facebook to say that they support local jobs, and took a photo and then posted it on social media.
I got a selfie with a dog.
Oh, did you?
The Campaign Intensive is there to train not only the youth but the women and the ATSI and the vets and everybody else in terms of what are the important issues regarding the union and regarding workers in the maritime industry.
It was the brainchild of Ian Bray as part of a rollout of developing campaign activists around the country. It started in Victoria because we were modelling ourselves on the We Are Union campaign that was run by the Victorian Tradesford Council at last year's state election.
The fact that they used this methodology to oust a Liberal government in Victoria, similarly used in Queensland, there had to be something to it.
I think there would have been, say, 70 of us. The idea was that you brought a veteran member, a youth member, a female member, and so that they're going to come back to your branch and then roll that out.
What Campaign Intensive brought out was a sense that we have hope. The real fear for young people is, what are we fighting for if the industry is going to disappear altogether? This model says, yes, you have the capacity, looking at your future and the future of all industries, to actually change the way the government looks at the future of your work.
The opportunities and the people you meet, and just spreading the awareness, of Aboriginal people and opening people's eyes about their struggles as well.
Once you trigger a political awareness in young people, they'll try one thing and then they get a bit of success, the old story. Then they say, hang on a minute, and they take other people with them. Then they go, you get its own momentum.
This is a new approach, it's disciplined, but this is where we're going, and we have to go this way if we want to set our membership up for success and we want to set this union up to win.